You're a real fintech geek.
No, I love technology. The day you do something that is your passion, there is no more work.
Who are these small retail shops that you actually address?
These guys do sell you your daily needs. They are your bankers, your neighbors, your friends. They play an important role in our communities.
What was really your aha moment and said, okay, I'm going to fix this?
I'm a strong believer you can be a successful fintech only when you bring a real ecosystem with their procurement, with their credit accessibility, with their payments, with added value services. If you help them with their digitization, they'll be able to compete.
One challenge that you think is still unsolved in fintech?
Instant settlement with reconciliation. As a merchant or as a user, you would love to be able to open your app and see what I have bought for X dollars, but also get into the details and see what I have bought for X dollars.
Welcome to Access Tomorrow, where we dive into the world of payments, innovation, and commerce. I'm your host, Leila Sarhan. In each episode, we'll explore commerce from various angles, from the viewpoint of small business owners to the wider perspective of financial institutions. We'll uncover what drives success and explore ideas and strategies that fuel growth. This podcast is brought to you by Visa. In today's episode, we will focus on Chari's journey in transforming Morocco's small retail landscape through fintech, highlighting financial inclusion and impactful partnerships. We're excited to welcome Ismael Belkhayat, founder and CEO of Chari, a platform that's truly revolutionizing Morocco's small retail sector. Through Chari, thousands of shop owners now have access to the digital tools they need to manage their inventory, accept digital payment, and even access credit, and so many more financial services that were once out of reach for them. Ismael, welcome to the show.
Thank you for your invitation.
It's great to have you. So, Ismael, I want to start the conversation around Chari, but maybe start with some of the challenges. But before we dive into the challenges, if you tell us a little bit more, who are these small retail shops that you actually address?
So we are speaking here of the no-name independent grocery stores. You know, the small bakalas that you find around the corners? Some people think they do sell groceries. Reality is they are more than this. At least in our developing countries and mainly in Africa, these guys do sell you your daily needs, but at the same time, they give you credits, so they are your bankers, but they are also your neighbors, your friends. And you know, even when you get into a fight with your wife, there are sometimes those solving it. So they play an important role in our communities. And I really believe that they are part of our national heritage. Yeah. And our role is to save them from competition coming from, you know, the big chains, the modern trade. Yeah.
So you decided to digitize those small mom and pop shops. I love them, by the way. You go in, they know you by name. Tell me a little bit about the challenges you faced with them adopting technology, but more importantly, adopting digital payments.
Yeah, so technology, when we started in 2020, you know, we felt that we had to digitize the way they work, but also their payment flows. And we went back to the office and started working on an amazing app, you know, using the latest libraries, making sure that it meets with all the needs of an app from the Silicon Valley. You know, we designed with a product manager what would become the killer app, and then came back to them very proud, showing them what we've built. And we realized that many of them had old phones, you know, in which the latest technology weren't working. Mm-hmm. We also realized that, you know, a few of them were turning off their data. So, you know, to save on the cost. And, you know, we had this amazing app that wasn't necessarily working. We also built a heavy app. And many of them had phones with no space.
Yeah, no capacity.
And no capacity. And the funny thing, we also built these amazing small buttons, you know, very fancy buttons that you see in these new apps. but for some reasons, the size of their fingers were bigger than my fingers. So, they were trying to click on one button and they were ending up clicking on the next button. And that's when we realized that, you have to spend time with your clients, realizing what they wanted. And back at that time in 2020, coming up with an easy to use app, just big pictures and pricing, and that's it, would have been much better than this fancy app.
And what other challenges did you see when you fixed probably some of the accessibility issues?
Yes, of course. And then when we fixed the accessibility issues, we realized that these people were not as tech savvy as we were expecting them. When you are in Morocco, you look up to countries in Southeast Asia, South America, where they have these amazing apps killing it. And you just feel, okay, if they've done it, you'll be able to do it. And we looked at their metrics, and these guys has like 95% autonomy, which means that any user was able to buy online without calling any client service. And we tried to do the same, but then we realized that, e-commerce app is quite complex. Not only you have to download it, you have to log in, add your info, say where is your shop, then you have to go on, browse all the catalog, add products to your cart, and then decide when you want to get delivered, and then how you want to pay. So it's a lot of steps. And we realized that it was easy to have them download the app, but it was very complex to have them go through all the steps.
Okay.
So we found a few solutions that I can share with you later.
Okay, we'll go to some of the solutions. You also speak about, they provide credit, but they also look for credit, right? And that is not something that is easily accessible to them. Even though you say they're part of the national heritage, they're also part of the economy. I think they're an important fabric of the economy in Morocco. There's like thousands and thousands of them. So why is it difficult for them to access credit?
Yeah, when you go to a developed country, let's take France for example, when a consumer spends 100 euro, he would spend 85 euros in a big chain, in the modern trade, and only 15 euros in a no-name independent traditional store. When you go to Morocco and in general in developing countries, it's the exact other way.
Okay.
In Morocco, these small shops, we're speaking of 250,000 small grocery stores that attract 85% of the total fast-moving consumer good consumption.
Wow.
Right? So, again, they are here. And one of the reasons why they're still here is because they know very well their clients. Their clients are usually their neighbors.
Yeah.
So when you come see them, they call you per your name. They ask about your wife. That's why I was telling you that they can help with any issue. So they're able to credit score you.
Okay.
And they are also able to do cash collecting.
Yeah.
So you come by, usually every single day, in Morocco, we go to our next door shop every single day. He knows what we want. And sometimes whatever we want to buy, he knows it without having any AI, right? Or machine learning. He has his own ERP, which is in his head. And he provides you with what you want, but he doesn't let you pay. Because it's convenient. And by the end of the week or by the end of the month, whenever you get paid, you go back, see him. He has a tab for you, a tab for your kids, a tab for your wife, and he says, here's what you have to pay, right?
Wow.
So he needs working capital because he gives you goods credit without getting paid, credit. However, his suppliers, the big multinational FMCG distributors get paid on the spot.
Yeah.
So, of course, he needs credit from local financial institutions. However, because, everything is paid in cash, he has no proof about his cash flows. And he can't go to any bank asking for a credit.
Yeah.
That's the current situation.
Yeah. And are you trying to fix that?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
So we recently acquired a company called Chari, which is a credit book. It's a SaaS platform allowing these small shopkeepers to get rid, of their notebook. They used to have this pen on their ear. You come to them and they write down. So we've put everything on the cloud, allowing them basically to add on our app any transaction they do with their clients of course, when it's in credit. And we send automatic reminders to the end users on WhatsApp, telling them that that's how much they owe to the shop and that they can pay the shop using digital ways through Visa cards when they have a Visa card.
Amazing. And the adoption of this solution?
Much better than the e-commerce.
Okay.
Remember I told you e-commerce was very complex. This one is very easy to use.
Yes.
Think of it as a calculator
Yeah.
where you add up all the stuff people buy from you, and at the end you have a total amount and you say that that's the client. And by the way, this is a very good question because cost of a download of Chari was very low, but then conversion rate from a download to a user was very low also. So cost of acquiring a user was very high. That's why we acquired this bookkeeping app, because cost of download was low, and conversion rate was very high.
Okay.
So cost of acquisition of a bookkeeping user
was lower.
And today what we do is cross-sell. We offer the bookkeeping for free, so anyone can use it. And once they start loving our service, we get back to them saying, look, it's been free. No, you should start using Chari, the e-commerce app with a real business model, so you can compensate the fact that you use for free. It's cross-selling.
Yeah. And you spoke about the supply chain, right? The big distributors and the big FMCG, wholesalers and all of this. You also worked on the supply chain side. And I think it's very important to digitize the entire chain. So when you started looking at the details of this, I'm sure you discovered a lot of inefficiencies in how they do this. What was really your aha moment and said, okay, I'm going to fix this?
The small bulb.
Yes, exactly.
Eureka, we say in French, right? Listen, when I got married, and by the way, with my co-founder, again, we used to go every single day to our next door shop.
Okay.
And sometime you go during rush hours and he's very busy because there is a line in front of you. He's trying to serve his clients. But again, it's a one-man show. A small shop, a small grocery is one guy behind the counter to whom you ask what you want. Yeah. And so he has to handle his clients, but during rush hours, sometime he has also the suppliers that come. So when you have the truck of Coca-Cola passing by, and at the same time he needs to serve his client, he has a trade-off. If he misses Coca-Cola, then it's an issue. He's out of stock of one of the most sold products. If he misses his clients, he loses his sales. And then, during the same day, we used to go back, see the same shopkeeper, and he had nothing to do. And we just felt, okay, his time is not well used. Why don't we provide him with an app that he can use when he has no suppliers and no clients, so he can order everything he has out of stock, and then it's our job as a company to deliver the goods to him in less than 24 hours, meeting with some, quality service, like accepting returns, like giving him tracking of the goods, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
That's sometimes credits.
And that was adopted better?
And that was adopted in the way that they wanted the goods. However, what they started doing is, instead of going through the app and, all the process I have described before, they started sending us voice messages on WhatsApp. Hey, I have seen that you have today this promotion on this product. Please, can you send me some of the goods? And then we had to hire up to 70 people in our call center. And their job was basically to listen to these, voice messages of the shopkeepers and turn them into real orders.
So you're taking orders on the phone. So I want to shift gears a little bit now. I think we understand the challenges, and you've built a fantastic solution to address those challenges. Do you have a kind of a story to share, some transformative, like a success story, a shop that really was transformed because he started using your solution?
Yes, there is one use case that our shops love.
Yeah.
And let me explain what it is. In Morocco, we have 3 telecom operators. And the shops, on top of selling grocery stores, they also sell what we call airtime or mobile top-up.
Yeah.
And the way they do it is they have usually 3 feature phones, which are very old phones. They use a technology called USSD, with a star number and so on, with a lot of mistakes, as you can imagine. And they need working capital for each one of the 3 telecom operators.
Okay.
So if you go see them and they don't have any more balance, they can't use another telecom operator. So we came to them and said, look, you can use our app, open only one single account with us, top it up with your Visa card, and many of them have a Visa card, and then they have a balance, and with this balance, they can top up the mobile phones of their end users. So instead of having 3 working capital requirements, they only have 1, and money comes instantly. And better than this, let's say it's the Eid, which is, holidays that takes 2 weeks. They can get their money out of the payment account, mainly because it's fully interoperable with other banks.
Amazing. So you mentioned Visa, and I know earlier this year I had the privilege to launch and formalize, I would say, the partnership that we have with Chari. Tell me a little bit more about this partnership. I mean, how is this partnership really helping you do the things differently? And if you can touch a little bit on what kind of innovations are we going to drive together?
First of all, I had the privilege. Again, myself, I'm a strong believer that you can be a successful fintech only when you bring a real ecosystem. I have seen a lot of players trying to provide these small shopkeepers with hard POSs, hoping that the small shopkeepers will adopt the hard POS. Reality is these guys are used to cash. Cash goes directly to their pocket. You come see them and tell them, look, use this hard POS, money will arrive on your account after 1 or 2 days. And then with this money, you have to go to the bank and withdraw the money so you can pay your suppliers. They will never accept. So one of the reasons why we believe that Visa will provide us with all of what we need to make it work is because Visa has a real ecosystem. So nowadays, when we go see a shopkeeper, we don't tell him take our POS. We tell him, look, take our full ecosystem that includes a POS that brings you instant settlement into a payment account. And this payment account is linked to a Visa card. So you can start paying your suppliers, including us, because we are one of the suppliers, with the Visa card. But also, if you need cash for a reason or another, you can go to any ATM and withdraw the money. This is an ecosystem. That's
amazing. And I think real-time settlement, we've been having those discussions, saying why small businesses are not adopting digital payments. And you always say, everybody think that because they don't want to pay taxes, and that's not true. There are so many other issues that we need to fix.
But remember what we said earlier. These shopkeepers have a positive working capital requirement because they get paid usually in credit by the users, and then they have to pay their suppliers. So imagine you tell them, you know what? You will get paid with a card, and then you will have to wait 2-3 days for the settlement. They will prefer to get paid cash and get the money immediately so they can pay their suppliers.
100%.
So instant settlement in our developing countries is very important.
So you talked about so many use cases. I mean, I think you are on a roll and there's a tremendous momentum. I think you're thinking of launching a neobank. You want to offer credit. You want to enter new countries. It's great to see so much momentum. And what is behind all of this incredible momentum that you have? What is driving you every day to rethink, reshape what Chari is?
First of all, as I said, this population plays an important role in our communities. So if nothing is done, the same way they have disappeared in Europe and in the US, in the 70s and 80s, they will end up disappearing in our geographies. But what's the main difference between back in the old days and today? It's technology. It's digital. So if you help them with their digitization, they'll be able to compete with these big chains that have the big means that go through, their central purchasing body. And that's our hope. We believe that it's a population that is part of our heritage, and we need to help them with their procurement, with their credit accessibility, with their payments, with added value services so they can start, getting additional revenue streams, reselling financial services to their end users. They have fixed costs with their human resource, but also their rent, and they only sell grocery stores. Why can't we think of them as local banks?
Yeah. And I think we'll come later to what's coming ahead. But before we go there, I wanted maybe to understand a little bit more your story and your backstory, you as Ismael. I think, you had a career with BCG, I believe, as a consultant. You probably among the first Moroccans in the Casablanca office of BCG. So great career. And I believe your wife was also a consultant with McKinsey. What is the event that made you say, okay, I'm going to leave this career and I'm going to be an entrepreneur?
These days when you wake up and you do your introspection and you realize that your whole life you've been following this social pressure, family, parents, friends, who tell you that's the right path to follow to be a successful person.
Yes.
In Morocco, in Morocco, you need to have a high school degree in science.
Yes.
Then you need to go do something called classe préparatoire.
Yeah.
Then you have to go to grande école, and then you have to go to a big firm, and so on and so on. And then you wake up and you ask yourself, is it really me? And my whole life I have been what we call a geek. I love technology. So I was, 28 years old, and I just decided to start following my guts.
Okay.
And that's the best advice I can give, piece of advice I can give to anyone who wants to stop working. Because I'll tell you, the day you do something that is your passion, there is no more work.
But you're working a lot. I know that. But if you think you're also a serial entrepreneur, you had successes. I'm sure you also had failures. What's the lesson you got from those failures?
Of course I've got failures. There is no entrepreneur in the world that has succeeded in anything without having failed before and learned from his mistakes. I love this image of a super entrepreneur, and you see his face and he looks like Superman. And then you go behind him and you see his back and you find him being stabbed in the back, because that's real entrepreneurship. And I don't know who used to say that in entrepreneurship, you never fail. You either learn or succeed. Myself, I've tried a lot of business models, a lot of companies. I have a cemetery of startup.
Okay.
But obviously, we only speak about those that are successful.
Yeah, I can imagine. And when you look in the entrepreneurship world, is there an entrepreneur that actually inspires you?
Yeah, there are a few ones. Of course, everybody look up to Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
What he has built is amazing. But let's keep it local. In Morocco, we have a few local entrepreneurs.
Okay.
I have a big brother that has been for me a model, and he is still, as of today, my model.
Yeah.
But we have also other great entrepreneurs. I'm sure you have heard about the founders of HPS.
Yes, of course.
That have built this global fintech. And these guys are still amazing. I meet with them from time to time, and they are so successful and still spend time with young entrepreneurs like me.
And like you say, they have the passion.
Exactly.
It is a very successful company.
And it's a matter of passion. It's successful because they have been passionate for the last 40 years.
And I think the founders are still there. I mean,
they are.
They are still there.
And they do a lot of give back.
Yes, yeah, it's true. Yeah, so many great stories in Morocco. They also say I mean, often you hear some advice around you have to know how to surround yourself as an entrepreneur. Who do you surround yourself with?
I'll tell you something. Entrepreneurship is an emotional roller coaster. You can feel the very same day in the morning that you are building the next unicorn of the region, and then you receive an email from an upset client or investor, and then you just feel that. And the determinant of an entrepreneur is the variance between this euphoria that you get and this feeling of losing everything.
Yeah.
And in order to go through this hard moral roller coaster, you need to get surrounded by people who have good energy. And sometimes people that are very complementary.
Okay.
Because if you pick up someone, let's take a co-founder that is your copy, when you are down, he will be down with you.
True.
And you will be willing to do the same job, and at the end you will end up in a fight. I am very fortunate because I got married with an amazing lady who is very complimentary. She is an engineer when I am a sales guy. She's into the details when I'm very high level. And whenever I'm pumped up, she's down, and vice versa. And she has an amazing energy. And without her, I wouldn't be here today.
That's amazing. It must be so nice to hear this from your partner. It's amazing. Let's talk about the future, right? What's next? What's next for Chari? So if you think of one area of the Chari platform that you're working on, or that you want to build that is going to be truly transformative, what would it be?
So we want to turn what used to be an e-commerce platform into a super app for merchants. Mm-hmm. We want to provide the shopkeeper the right tools, of course, to handle his daily needs and improve his life. But at the same time, we want to provide him with services that he will use, but also resell to his or her end users, so he or she can make additional revenue and stay competitive.
Okay. So I think we see a lot of these models in the emerging world. I had on the podcast Ashraf Sabri from Fawri. And I think he also had this vision and actually was very successful and eventually became a unicorn as well.
Ashraf is also a person that does a lot of give back.
Yes.
He has welcomed me in his headquarters in Cairo and has shared with me his whole story, and he's someone I look up to and who has given me a lot of advice.
Yeah.
And today I'm trying to duplicate his model actually. So I'm trying to turn these small shopkeepers into financial services point of sale, where you can pay your bills, top up your mobile, transfer money, buy your insurance, pay your taxes, and so on and so on. And of course, Ashraf is the model.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So maybe I know you have market expansion ambitions. So which next market do you think we will see Chari?
So we've already opened Ivory Coast and Tunisia.
Okay.
And, I told you about this credit book app.
Yeah.
That is for now free, but that all the users love. It's crazy, but the day they start using it, they use it on a daily basis. As we speak, we have 40,000 small merchants
that use it,
using it on a daily basis. We started in Morocco, but then we expanded it to 6 Francophone countries.
Wow.
And the reason is very simple, is you don't need any local office or any capex to move it to other countries. We do a lot of marketing in these Francophone countries using the same back office team and technological team. We just, change the currency. And then we have a client service that speaks usually either French or the local language. Yeah. And we help these users master our services.
Amazing. And it's still free?
It's a very good question. It's free. But reality is, at least in Morocco, where we do have FMCG operations, we do use the data to credit score the SMEs. And of course, we know all the small shops that have been giving money to their end users, and we know that we can trust these shops and give them our goods with long payment terms because we'll end up getting paid. You have to know that these shops have zero default rate.
Yeah.
They work on trust.
Yes. It's true.
No AI, no machine learning. They don't ask for any payroll, and they are having a default rate that is lower than any other bank.
Okay.
So it's amazing.
Amazing. And any plans to monetize this?
So, first of all,
outside of Morocco.
Yeah. So the idea is we got recently what we call a payment institution license, or EMI license, allowing us to open payment accounts with local IBANs, give Visa cards. So ambition here with this credit book app is to embed wallet into it and let the end users pay back the shopkeepers
directly
using our technology on which we can take a cut.
Okay.
Also, remember I told you about this feature that allows the shopkeepers to top up the mobile of their end users. As we speak, we are currently embedding it into this credit book. So hopefully the shopkeepers that use the credit book will also use within the same app this feature to top up the mobile phones on which we get a cut.
Amazing. It's all around this shopkeeper. I mean, I look forward to seeing all of your successes, Ismail. But for now, I'm going to go to the last part of our podcast, which is what we call our Visa Fast Pass. So I'm going to ask you rapid fire questions. You have to answer very quickly, very naturally. So how many skydives did you do this year?
This year I've done 20, but in total
wow.
200.
I know you've done 200 plus, but this year 20 already. Yeah. Oh, wow. Amazing. Tell me the first thing you do when you wake up.
I've read this message that says that if you want to spend a good day, make sure not to use your phone during the first 30 minutes. So I try to do anything as long as I don't use my phone.
Is it true? Really?
It's difficult. It's easier to say than to do, but I do my best.
So if you have to pick one, flying a plane, rock climbing, camping, or trail running?
Definitely flying a plane. I have my what we call PPL. Which is my driving.
So you fly planes.
License,
okay.
Yes.
You dive and you fly planes.
Yes, I do. With my wife. We both drive, we both skydive, and we both have our license. Private pilot license.
Nice. If not fintech, what would you be doing?
I would probably do travel tech.
Yes.
Sometimes, and it's wrong to think that when you work in an industry, you may end up making the most of this industry. So I feel like if I work in travel tech, I may end up traveling, which is false, but travel tech is attractive.
If you were to be with a person, living or dead, and have the opportunity to have a business or life brainstorming session, who would that be?
Definitely. Steve Jobs, we spoke of him earlier. He's probably the only person I don't know who, when he died, I felt something.
Oh,
really?
Wow. It's true. Yeah.
I felt like, losing someone and something important for our for our work.
Best advice for a fintech startup?
Get surrounded by by positive people.
Yeah.
And remember that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And in fintech, it's true. Believe me that everything takes longer than what you expect.
Favorite entrepreneur that you've met?
It would be Michael Lahyani, who built here in Dubai an amazing portal called Property Finder.
Of course.
That everybody uses. And he does a lot of give back. And I'll tell you, when I started Chari, he was one of my early backers. And I look up to him, and he has been an inspiration for me.
So someone who gives back inspires you. One challenge that you think is still unsolved in fintech?
I would say instant settlement with reconciliation. As a merchant or as a user, you would love to be able to open your app, see the transaction you've just done, but see also the details of the transaction. You know, I would love to open my bank account and see what I have bought for X dollars, but also get into the details and see what I have bought for dollars.
You know what I like is you're a real fintech geek. But for someone to say real settlement with reconciliation, that's a real fintech geek.
I'm not sure everybody will understand what I just said, but
anyway, Ismael, I want to thank you so much for coming. I'm sure our audience, our listeners and viewers gained a lot of insights. One from Chari, really revolutionizing the Morocco retail sector. And two, from you as an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, lots of great advices. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us today. We're committed to providing you with fresh and bold insight from our region, so don't miss our next episode. Until then, stay informed, stay inspired, and always strive to stay ahead of tomorrow. Thank you once again for watching and listening to Access Tomorrow, brought to you by Visa.